The waiting, the anticipation. I did all of the paperwork and now we're just waiting. Whew. So I am going to get my Nexplanon out next week. And I kind of wanted to go over how it was to get it and how it was to have it, and then kind of document my experience getting it out. I really like it. It's been really nice having it. Now, getting it, which I'll show some pictures, it was gnarly. It was really gnarly. And they ask you which side you want it in. I got it in my left side because I'm right side dominant, but you can't really see it. There's this little area like right there that you can kind of see it, and you could definitely feel it. But anyway, so they numb your arm. You're like laying there. They numb it, which is the worst part, I think. And then they do a little slit and they slide it in. But the after, like, I had a lot of bruising and it looked awful. And it was tender and it took a couple of days to get back to normal. Now having it, I really liked having it because, for one, it's one and done. I don't have to take a pill. I don't have to get it switched out. I don't have to have something up in me that might come loose or might embed in. Yeah, that kind of stuff just kind of freaked me out. So I'm glad I went with this form of birth control. Yeah, so some pros. I'll go over the pros first. So some pros are, of course, it's one and done. It's in your arm and it lasts for like 3.5 years. I loved that. The other pro, I think, is for me personally, like, I didn't really have really bad cramps. Like, I would have maybe cramps on the first day of my period, but with having this, I've had no cramps whatsoever, ever, you know, with my periods. And then the other thing was it did change the frequency of my periods first. So for about the first year, I think, when my body was adapting to it, because it is a hormone birth control. But yeah, I had probably a period every other month for about a year. So I would go like 2 months without a period, which was really nice. And then the second year it evened out. But then the third year of me having it, I will have like my normal period, and then around like ovulation time, I'll have slight bleeding, like spotting, if you will. And then, but like very, very, very slight. And then my next period. So, and now they're much more regular. They're within the 28-day cycle, and you know, they're very much back to normal. One of the cons, there's some other pros. So another pro would be like my face. I think it really cleared up my face in the first year and a half. But towards the end, like I started getting the like period acne, and mine always shows up on my chin. So I started getting that back. So I feel like when it's in like that first year, oh, it was great. I didn't have periods as often. When I did have periods, I didn't have cramps at all. All my like hormonal acne went away. But I think the biggest con for me, the biggest one is, I think it is having me, or like making my body retain weight. And I wouldn't necessarily, it's made me gain weight. I think I kind of did that on my own after having my child. I don't know, after I had Riker, like I slimmed right down. Like after the birth belly went back, like I was fitting into my normal jeans, I was fitting into my like everything. But then winter set in and I became a homebody, and we didn't have our gym membership, and I think I just kind of gained some weight. But I think with having the Nexplanon, I think it's made it harder for me to lose weight, or it's just having me like retain, like I just feel so swollen all the time, like having water retention. Yeah, so I'm hoping with getting the Nexplanon out, I will maybe get rid of some of that water weight or some of that like bloaty. It's not really bloating though. It's just like, I just feel water retention-y, if that makes sense. But yeah, I want to get it out early just because Riker is about to be 3 in July, and we don't want the age gap between children to be too far. And the other thing is we don't really want, at least I don't really want to be any much older than I am now. So I am going to be 32 this year. So let's just say I get pregnant, then the baby would be born in my 33rd year or like right around. So I don't really want to go past that. I know that, you know, it's possible, but the older we get, the more possibility there is for doubles or, you know? So I just really want a healthy pregnancy, and I kind of want my childbearing years to be over with, which will be done with number 2. So with all of those factors going in, it just makes sense to start to get it out, see if my body will regulate back down, because I am eating healthy. I do have my exercise routine, like I'm doing all the things, but it feels like I can't get past a certain weight. I haven't been able to get back down, and I really do think it's the Nexplanon that's like hindering that progress. So I want to get that out, see what that does to my body, have my body regulate back before we start trying again. So there is the explanation for, and if you made it this far, now we can get into the experience of getting it out. Okay, so today's the day. We are getting the Nexplanon out. I'm a little, just a smidge anticipation feeling, just because I know, I've heard at least, that other people's experience is that it is worse getting it out than it is getting it in. So I'll let you know what my verdict is. Ooh, okay, all done. She came in, she prepped me, evaluated what it looked like. She was like, yeah, it's super close to the surface. It looks pretty easy. I could definitely do it. She went over all the risks, you know, bleeding, can't take it out, too much scar tissue, whatever. And then they put lidocaine with like a little needle, and that actually wasn't as bad as the first time. The first time it burned a lot, like the injection. This time just felt like a little pinch, and then like some tingly, not really like burning sensation in the area. And then we waited 5 minutes to have that set in. She poked me to see if I could feel. I couldn't, so she went ahead and prepped me for the little cut. They have this like, well, first iodine. They put iodine all over you. And then the scalpel they use is like just, it's not really a scalpel like you would see in like a doctor show where it's like scalpel. Instead it's like an X-Acto knife where they like put it out, and it's very angled, very sharp looking, and they just kind of start slitting in that area, and you're just like this the entire time. I mean, you can look if you want, which I did. Just because I'm a weirdo and I'm curious about that kind of stuff. But yeah, they use the scalpel to kind of not pinch away, but to like kind of scrape and create a small enough opening. They don't want to go too big, so they kind of like cut and kind of feel it and push. And there was a lot of like pressure because she was like pushing and kneading, and then using the little scalpel. And then eventually when she got a good grasp of it, or could see that she could get a good grasp of it, they go in with like these little tweezers almost, and kind of, I could feel her go like this as she's like wiggling it out. Mine didn't have a lot of scar tissue, so it came out with like just a little bit of effort, which was really nice. But yeah, and then butterfly bandages, and she wrapped it. And yeah, let's see if I could get it shown. I don't know if I can, but it's right there. She wrapped it in like this white gauze. It's just like a little twingy, a little sore. But yeah, it's all wrapped up. She said to keep it on for 24 hours. And then the butterfly bandages, she said to just let those fall off naturally. Don't try to peel them off. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and see how it is in the morning. Like I have like range movement. It just feels maybe a little bit sore, but it's like I can move it. I just haven't touched it, you know, like pressed on it. Okay, it's been about 24 hours. So I'm gonna cut this thing off. Yikes. You can see that. Yeah, so you could see where it was, and then where they cut, and then the little butterfly bandages. And then all of this, I don't think that's bruising, I think that's just the iodine. Yeah, that's just the iodine that they put all over it. Ugh. But it feels fine. Yeah, it looks like there's some bruising where it was. So it's been about 5 days, and this is what it looks like. The Band-Aid came off, I took a shower, and so it started curling in, so I just kind of did the rest. But is the incision, it is so small, the little incision, where they actually pulled the thing out. So I'm gonna see if I can get a better picture of it, but I mean, it's fine. It feels fine. I have a lot of range of motion. So it is out and pretty much healed. It only took, what, 5 days, and seems good. I'm sure it'll need a couple more days to fully heal, but it's good. Again, my name is Emily. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about the birth control, if I wasn't as detailed, of course, I normally do these types of videos just kind of off the cuff, and I might not word things correctly, or I have little editor's notes throughout. But if you have any questions or you need some clarifications, please just ask in the comments and I'll get to you.